Hi guys. So we're starting off the new week doing two new lessons. We're going to be multiplying and dividing rational functions. Um, so last week I know we simplified and factored. We factored and then we simplified. So this week we're moving on to multiplying and dividing. I hope you were able to finish everything and your quizzes that you had last week. We will have same format this week. We'll have two lessons. Including the Nearpods with some problems and some Delta math, and then some quizzes towards the end of the week. So we are going to start with multiplying rational expressions. Oh, sorry, before we start, real quick, don't forget there's the discussion board if you have questions. And just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great so far. Make sure all your friends are in and you're helping each other out. That's the most important thing, that we're helping each other out through this time. And here we go, guys. So when we're multiplying, this first bit is we're only going to talk about multiplying monomials. Remember, that's one term. Monomial means one, so we're just multiplying one term times one term. We're going to do a couple examples, and oh my gosh, I'm going to sneeze. So sorry. And here we go. So I am not necessarily going to actually multiply them together first. I'm going to simplify first. So if I do this example one, right here, I'm going to make it big here. I'm going to simplify as much as I can before I can multiply. So I know that 5 goes into 5 one time and into 10 twice. Okay, and then 2 and 4 I can simplify. So 2 goes into 2 one time and into 4 twice. So I took care of my numbers. So if I look at my numbers, I should have a 1 on top and a 2 on the bottom. So now we're going to talk about the letters. And I'm just going to kind of come down here and I'm going to write out all my letters. So I'm going to put all the A's together that are on the top, all the B's together, and all the C's are together. So technically I have 5 A's. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's those 3 and there's 2. And then I have 2 B's, 1 B and 1 B. I have 2 C's right there and 1 D. And that's what's on top for my variables. And now we're going to go down to the denominator, and I have 1 A and I have 2 B's. I have 1 C and 1 D. So there we go. What's in the denominator? So now we're just going to simplify. So 1A goes away, both B's go away, 1C goes away, and the D goes away. And I'm just going to write what's left. So what do I have left? I have 1, 2, 3, 4 A's. So that's A to the 4th and 1C. So if I rewrite this, I get A to the 4th, C all over 2. And that's all we're going to do for this first part. So we have a few more examples to do. Here we go to the first one. I'm not going to do example 2 yet because it's not like what we're doing. So here we go. We're going to do just the monomials first. So here we go. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get rid of as many of the numbers as I can first. So I know that 2 does not go into 3, but 3 goes into 12. So 3 goes into 3 one time and into 12 4 times. So what does that mean? I have numbers on the top. Well, I have 1 on the top. And in the denominator, I've got 2 times 4, which is 8. Okay, and then let's come down here and do my variable. So I've got, how many K's do I have on top? Well, I've got 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I've got 1 on the bottom. So 1 goes away. And what do I have left? Well, I have K to the 3rd power. So my answer is K to the 3rd power over 8. And that's my answer. All right, so now remember, I'm showing every step and trying to be fairly transparent in my thinking, since I'm not there to answer questions, so it might take a little bit longer, so I apologize on that. So now we're going to go to the second problem. So this one I'm going to kind of maybe do a different way. I don't know. I'm going to multiply all my numbers together first. And not necessarily it's different. It's just a different way of thinking at it. So 3 times 4 is 12. And 2 times 9 is 18. And then what else do I have on the top? I have x squared, y squared over y. Now I can simplify it from here. Notice it's a little harder because they're not broken down to, not necessarily a little harder, but they're not broken down into the factors of it. So, not necessarily harder. What goes into 12 and 18? What goes into 12 and 18? Well, 6 does. So 6 goes into 12 2 times and into 18 3 times. So that means I have a 2 in my numerator and a 3 in my denominator. And then I don't have any x's at all in my denominator, so my x stays in the numerator. And then I have 1 y in my denominator, and I have 2 y's in my numerator, so that y is going to go away, and one of those y's up there are going to go away. So this should be my answer. My final answer should be 2x squared y over 3. Okay, so I can do it either way. I can multiply it first and then simplify it, or I can simplify and then multiply. I usually find it easier to simplify first. It's entirely up to you. Okay, here we go again. Number 3. So 2 goes into 2 one time and into 14 7 times. And then I have how many? So I'm going to go ahead and do my variables. So I have got 5 C's on top and 3 C's on bottom. So that gives me 2 C's left in the numerator. So I've got 7C squared over 1. So my answer should be 7C squared, because there's nothing left in the bottom. Well, there's 1 left down here, and 1 times 1 is 1. So I don't have to have anything in my denominator. Okay, we're going to do it again. Here we go. Last one for this section. So 3 goes into 3 one time. Okay, 2 goes into 2 once and into 4 2 times. So now let's get all my variables together. So in the numerator, I've got 3 x's and 2 y's. And in my denominator, I've got 2 x's and 2 y's. 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yep, okay. So that means that 2 of my x's go away, 2 of my y's go away, and I get left with 1x in the numerator. So in the top, I've got x over 2. And there's my answer. Okay, you're going to go do some practice problems, and then you'll be back in a few minutes to do the next section. We'll talk to you in a few minutes.